everyone, and welcome into Coach Craig's Sports. This is the MLB DFS Core Pick video, Core Pick live stream for today, Monday, April 10th. Typically, we do go over a recap of yesterday's picks since I have not made a video since Friday. We'll not be going over the recap since it is Monday after all. But just with that being said, Friday was pretty good overall. Did make a little bit of money there. So if you had the core picks that I did have, you had some other decent plays, you had a pretty good chance of cashing overall. But without further ado, we get into a little bit of weather. We'll get into some core picks. We'll get into some of the top stacks for today overall and just talk a little bit of theory. But first of all, being a little bit smaller slate today, 8-game main slate overall, since we do start at 7 o'clock Eastern time, 7:10 Eastern time, I do believe 6:10 Central time, which is the time that I'm currently in. So we have 8 games in total, so not too much to choose from, but I do like a lot of the options that we do have today overall. Talking about those 8 games, there is no weather concerns at this point in time. So if anything does change with that throughout the day, I'll leave it down in the comments. So we're just going to go straight to core picks today. Pretty straightforward video just in general today. So we're going to start off at the pitcher position. We got Julio Urias here. He is the top price pitcher on this slate, and with good reason, honestly. He's pitched really well so far this year. 40 points in both of his starts so far. He's going against the San Francisco Giants. He has really good history versus the Giants in the past. Last year, his 5 starts against the Giants all were above 40 points. So he had 49, 46, 43, 46, and 40. So pretty good consistency there. If you want to play a different pitcher here, you can definitely do that. Obviously, he is the highest priced one on the slate just in general, but definitely worth it at this price point today. Luis Castillo, who's just a tick below him, looks pretty good as well. And then obviously you can also check out my cheat sheet over on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Patreon, as well as the extra notes on Patreon if you are a Patreon patron as well. So definitely be sure to check all that out. A little bit more information on the slate in addition to the core picks that I am talking about at this point in time. Then we move down to first base. We have Paul Goldschmidt here. He is $4,200, so he's a little bit hefty price tag, but he's definitely worth that price tag at this point in time. He's going against German Marquez today, who he is 17 for 40 with 4 home runs versus in his career. So pretty good history there. Obviously, we're going to look back a little bit at the past games for Paul Goldschmidt as well, because a lot of the factors that I do factor into things, obviously, you take into recent history, you take into history against the opposing pitcher as well. And you'll see, Paul Goldschmidt, he's in 333 on the year. Only 1 home run, only 2 RBIs. So a little bit down for him at this point, but he's still hitting the ball well. He's got a hit in, I believe, about 2 games so far. This looking pretty good. Obviously, this game is at Coors Field as well. So you do have a little bit of external factor there as well. Then we move down to third base. We're going to go with Anthony Rendon today. He's kind of the last person in my core pick. Obviously, he was suspended for like 4 or 5 games with that altercation with the fan, you can call it, where the fan was kind of went after the fan and said, "Hey, don't be swearing at me," and all this stuff. And the fan started some more stuff, and then he swung at him and all that stuff. It's really unfortunate event, but we have to remember that baseball players are people too at the same time. Since then, he's had 2 multi-hit games since he's returned on Saturday. He's got some pretty decent history versus Patrick Corbin, just 2 for 7, nothing crazy there. It is kind of a revenge game for him going against his old team in the Washington Nationals. So if you want to go into that factor, could definitely do it. Looks like he's projected to hit in the 4 spot today, so pretty decent. The Angels are definitely a team that I like attacking just today in general. $2,800 is not bad for a player like Anthony Rendon, especially when he's healthy, which sadly enough he has not been healthy enough with the Angels throughout his career there. Then at shortstop, we're going to go with Corey Seager. He's only $3,000 going against Kansas City Royals today. Zach Greinke is on the mound, and he's got really good history versus Zach Greinke in his career. 8 for 21 with 3 home runs versus Greinke in his career. Obviously, we can look at some of the recent history for Corey Seager as well. He is one of the guys that was projected coming into the season to be the most affected by the shift limitations, where it's going to help him in a positive way. But you see, his last 3 games, he's over 12 points. We have a little bit of a downtick in some of these other games, but has really good upside against Greinke. Zach Greinke is now what he once was, although he's had 2 pretty decent starts so far this season, but do like the upside that Corey Seager offers, and only at $3,000, pretty cheap price tag for him as well. And then last but not least, we're going down to the outfield, playing another Angels player in Hunter Renfroe. He's $2,800. He's had a home run in back-to-back games, so his recent history is really good. We're looking at the history today against Patrick Corbin, who was one of the worst pitchers in all of baseball last year. Hunter Renfroe always smashes left-handed pitching very well. So we got 6 for 21 with 2 home runs with Patrick Corbin in his career as well. So a lot of history there pointing in favor of Hunter Renfroe. So definitely a guy that I like today, especially at $2,800. Not a bad price tag for him by any means. But with that being said, if you go with these 5 players that I do have listed here today, you have $11,300 remaining, just over $2,800 per player. There's definitely a lot of good values out there today, whether you're paying up for one other player and then you're kind of paying down some different spots. There's some pretty good value. Obviously, check out my cheat sheet, as I did mention, up on YouTube, up on Facebook, up on Twitter for some more values there as well. If you guys do have any additional questions, feel free to leave them in the live chat. If you're watching live, if you're watching on replay, or at the cutoff end of where this live stream ends, feel free to leave them down in the comments. I'll get back to you guys as quickly as possible. We'll have any updates throughout the day down there as well, including like starting lineups as much as I can get to throughout the day as well. But definitely be sure to check out there as we get more information throughout the day. And then moving over to my top stacks, I'm going to stop sharing the screen for FanDuel real quick. We'll go over to kind of the bottom half of this cheat sheet where we talk about the top stacks. So these are the ones that I do have for today. Obviously, you get a free look at the cheat sheet here. Obviously, the cheat sheet's free anyways. Only the DFS notes for the daily are behind the Patreon paywall, which is, slightly more than $1 per week. So you're getting 20 plus days per month for like the price of coffee at the same time. So a lot of good information that's out there. Obviously, the season's still very young, so the recent history isn't quite there as much, but looking at pitcher versus hitter matchups, looking at how guys have been performing as of late, definitely a good thing that we can do as well. But in terms of the top stacks that I do have for today, we got the Los Angeles Angels going against Patrick Corbin. These Angels hitters do have pretty good history versus him in the past, at least the ones that have faced him. Obviously, we got some other guys, that haven't faced him before, like a Taylor Ward, but he's leading off in this lineup. It's a pretty potent lineup, especially when they're all healthy at this point in time. So do like them quite a bit against Patrick Corbin, who once again was one of the worst pitchers in all of baseball last season. Then I do like the St. Louis Cardinals going against German Marquez. A lot of them have hit him pretty well in the past. Most notably Paul Goldschmidt, who has the 4 home runs versus him in the past. So definitely like him quite a bit today. If you want to play some of these other Cardinals hitters, have no problem whatsoever with that. Jordan Walker has been hot as of late, but he's up to $3,300. But you can play him at but you can play him at third base and outfield, excuse me. And then moving over to the Rangers, going against Zach Greinke, who's pitched reasonably well so far this season, but a lot of these Rangers hitters do have really good history versus them in the past, where there's Corey Seager, who is in our core picks. Then we have Adolis Garcia, who has some pretty decent history versus him as well, although he is not hitting the ball well to start the season. Marcus Simeon's up there. He has decent history versus him as well. Mitch Garver has like 3 for 6 with a home run versus him too. So there's a lot of opportunity here for these Rangers hitters overall today. And then last but not least, we have the Seattle Mariners going against Drew Smyly of the Cubs today. Do like these Mariners hitters quite a bit versus him. The ones that have faced him have pretty good history. The ones that haven't faced him have some pretty good upside at the same time, like a Julio Rodriguez. And Drew Smyly is not likely to probably pitch too far into the game. Then you get into that Cubs bullpen, which can be hit or miss just given the day that they are pitching as well. So do like the Mariners quite a bit. Look at guys like Ty France, who's always good against left-handed pitching. You look at Julio Rodriguez. You can look at Eugenio Suarez. A lot of good options that are out there today just in general, especially for an 8-game slate. We have so many options out there, and the pricing is pretty favorable overall for the most part today too. So if you want to pay up for pitcher, you can pay down for a couple hitters and kind of make everything work out just kind of the way, because there are some guys that are a little bit cheaper than they probably should be at this point in time. But with that being said, that's pretty much what I have for today for the MLB DFS Core Pick video, Core Pick live stream. Once again, if you guys have any additional questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Also, be sure to check out throughout the day for the starting lineups as they come down there. If there's any other thing that changes to the core picks throughout the day, I'll leave an updated core as we get closer to lock or as those changes do become available. And then with that being said, do appreciate everybody taking the time out of their day to tune in. If you are brand new to my channel, haven't already checked it out before, definitely be sure to subscribe. It definitely would mean a lot to me. It helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly free to the viewers, helping you with your DFS. Right now, we got primarily MLB DFS. We got some XFL DFS that's been going on. Got 2 more weeks left of that. USFL DFS starts up this week as well. So if that's something you're into, we'll be doing some content with that, probably doing a preview probably like tomorrow or Wednesday, kind of going through some of the teams, the pricing, the breakdown, and kind of the first look and who the coaches are and everything else like that. Guys that are coming back from last year, guys that are brand new to the team and everything else like that. Obviously, we should get some depth charts later on in the week. So when we talk about some picks like I do with XFL, we'll be talking a little bit more about that as well. However, if you're just interested in baseball, make sure you have that notification bell turned on so you never miss a beat for the MLB DFS as well. And then with that being said, definitely do appreciate everybody that did take the time out of their day to tune in. Looks like Doug's popping up here saying, "Hey, Craig." So Definitely do appreciate you popping up, Doug. If you have a question real quick, throw it in. Otherwise, throw it down in the comments once the stream's over, and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. But do appreciate everybody that did take the time out of their day, whether you're watching live or on replay. It definitely does mean a lot to me, and I hope that each and every one of you has a great rest of your day.